or trapezoidal rule, both are under the numerical method. The chapter of numerical method ni is finding the approximate value, not finding the exact value. If to find the exact value, then definitely we will use integration lah, or some other concept. But here we are to learn on how to find an approximation. Okay, if x1 is an approximation to the root, okay, the root indicate the final answer, our final answer x as 1. So we will start approximating from x1 and then moving on to x2. Okay, so start with x1 and then next x2 and then continue on x3 until you end up having both same answer. Then you stop and you answer your final answer as 1. Okay, so if x1 is an approximation value to the root of fx equals 0, then a better approximation will be x2. How to find a better approximation? By using this formula. Okay, so these are the formula in finding a better approximation of Newton-Raphson method. Okay, so this indicate x of n plus 1, the next approximation is equals to xn. Xn is the before one minus f of xn over with f prime of xn. You need to differentiate here. Differentiate your fx function. Okay, before n a positive 1, 2, 3 value lah. Okay, we look at example 6 to explain in more detail how does we apply this method of Newton-Raphson. Find the solution for x plus ex near to x equals to negative 0.5 to 4 decimal places by using the Newton-Raphson method. Obviously, you are given the function fx and you are also given x equals to negative 0.1 as your initial approximation value. So this is your x naught or x1. Okay, you could start it as x naught, or you could also start it as x1. Okay, so first let your fx equal to the function given x plus ex. Then the next thing is to find your f prime of fx. So how to find f prime? So differentiate this function, differentiate x1, differentiate ex, you end up having ex as the subject. Okay, so that's it. Fx, from fx you find your f prime of x. Next, to apply the Newton-Raphson formula to iterate. Okay, to iterate and find the final answer. That will be the better approximation. Okay. Okay, here I'm sharing with you on how to use your calculator to calculate for you. Okay, meaning that you don't have to do manually. Okay, you can follow this step. Okay, and I have also another one more video showing how to use using calculator. That second video is I key in videoing on the calculator itself. Okay, you may refer to that video later. Okay, so we want this. Kita nak key in masuk ni dalam calculator kita. Okay, kita nak display on calculator ni macam ni. This is what we want. Okay, so macam mana nak masukkan function ni dalam calculator? So you may follow this step lah. Okay, and then to press calculate. Okay, the first calculate ni, the calculator will ask you what is the value of x. So this refers to our first initial approximation value. Okay, in this question it is given negative 0.5, and then you press equal sign. Okay, What does the copy down your answer means? I will explain later. And then you continue by pressing calc, answer, and equal sign. So just repeat the process. Calc, answer, equal sign. Maksudnya dia akan kira menggunakan jawapan yang sebelumnya. Okay, so continue the process until you get the same answer or the same answer twice. Okay, or answer fulfilling the requirement of the question, which indicates in this question is 4 decimal places. Okay, so what you must do here is do a simple word like this. Okay, this is what you should end up having in your calculator, and then you press calc. Okay, tanya X berapa kan? So, masukkan yang pertama negative 0.5. Dah masuk negative 0.5, tekan tanda sama dengan. Lepas tu dia akan, kalkulator akan bagi jawapan ni. So ni awak salin jawapan yang kalkulator bagi. Awak tinggalkan sedikit ruang ni. So awak salin jawapan yang kalkulator bagi. Sebab soalan nak 4 decimal places, awak wajib ambil lebih satu daripada yang soalan minta. Faham Soalan minta berapa? 4 decimal places. You must take 1 extra more. Wajib. Tidak, takkan diterima dalam exam nanti. Okay? So kat sini salin je dulu jawapan daripada calculator. Salin. Answering to 4 decimal places. Maksudnya kita ambil 5. Okay, lebih 1. And then kat sini, lepas tu tekan lagi. Calc. Tekan lagi. Calc. And then answer. Butang answer. Dan butang sama dengan. Dapat jawapan seterusnya. Salin pula. And repeat the process once again. Calc. Answer. Sama dengan. Okay. Dapat lagi jawapan. Salin balik. And then you realize tak? Sama. So this is where you should stop. Okay. So stop and your final answer will be X equals to, so jawab according to the requirement of the question which indicate correct to 4 decimal places. So kalau to 4 decimal places, our answer will be negative 0.5671. So sini 4 decimal places. In working, okay, in working must 5 decimal places. More 1. Wajib. Okay. Okay. So lepas tu barulah awak penuhkan balik yang kat tengah-tengah ni. Yang kat tengah tadi saya dah kata kosongkan tempat. Salin dulu jawapan daripada kalkulator. Okay, macam nak salin? Yang kat tengah tu, next slide. Okay, so kita dah ada dah semua jawapan ni. Kita dah ada dari kalkulator tadi, from calculator. Okay, so yang ini kita tulis semula. So the formula is xn kan? Xn, so minus, ni apa? Ini adalah fx kita. Fx apa? Fx bila mana kita gantikan negative 0.5. Ini x kita. This is our x. Okay, so f of negative 0.5. Yang bawah ni pula adalah f prime of. Okay, f prime of negative 0.5. Okay, then seterusnya pula salin jawapan yang daripada sebelum ni. Okay, jawapan yang daripada sebelum ni. Okay, then next one pun macam tu. Repeat the process. Salin balik dia. Ni lebih mudah daripada awak kira satu persatu manually. Faham? Okay. So jangan buang masa kira satu persatu. Masukkan fungsi ni dalam kalkulator, bagi kalkulator yang kira kat awak. Okay. Cuma ingatan untuk kalkulator ni awak kena be careful dengan kurungan dan macam mana cara nak masukkan X, pakai alpha X, pakai shift. Okay. Be careful with that lah. Okay. Nak tahu dengan detail, nanti saya share link video macam mana saya tunjuk pakai calculator tu. Untuk example ni, boleh tengok ya. Boleh tengok semula nanti. Okay, so moving on to next examples. Okay, show that the equation has a root that lies between 1 and 2. Ini soalan yang pertama, show dulu. Dan yang kedua, by taking, so dia dah bagi first initial approximation value, evaluate the root of the equation, correct to 3 significant figures. Okay, by using Numerical Method. So, kita start off. So, untuk tunjukkan, untuk show by using algebraic, just ganti masuk. Benda sangat senang. Okay, from what to what just now? From 1 to 2. So, you ganti 1, you end up having -4. You substitute 2, you end up having 4. So obviously, this is negative. This is positive. You can do your conclusion saying that since one has a negative value, the other one has a positive value, which indicate obviously it shows a different sign. So therefore, the equation has a root that lies between 1 and 2. Okay. And then moving on for the next question. Okay. This is our fx. In order for you to do your Newton Raphson, you have to first find your f prime of x. So here your f prime of x is 3x squared plus 1. And then start with x, 1 as 1.6. Okay, here is given in the question. If it's not given, then since we have shown that there's a root between 1 and 2, so I will definitely take x1 as 1.5. Okay, if it's not given, but in this question it is given, wajib pakai yang dibagi. If it's not given, then you choose, okay, any value that's in between the interval. Okay, so here starting from 1.6, so you kena masukkan dalam calculator untuk calculate the answer kan. So apa yang kita nak masukkan dalam calculator, displaynya kita nak end up having this. X minus double bracket. Okay, double bracket sebab bracket yang pertama untuk keseluruhan fx over f prime. Bracket yang kedua untuk fx. So fx-nya adalah x cube plus x minus 6. Okay. Over bahagi. And then yang ini pula f prime buka balik bracket 3x square plus 1. Dan dua kali. Okay, untuk f prime dan the whole function. Okay, so this is display on calculator for this question. Okay, so you calculate answer, salin. Salin kat tepi dulu lah. Salin. 3 kali juga kena iterate ni. Okay, so ni x2. Salin. Lepas tu calculate answer. x3. Salin. Lepas tu x4. Salin. And then tengok sama. So stop. Lepas tu barulah buat kerja salin semula. Tulis semula dengan nilai-nilai. Ini nilai yang ni. Lepas tu nilai yang ni. Dan ini nilai yang ni. Ganti masuk balik. And your final answer will be, okay, padam ni dulu. Okay. Jangan buat kerja macam ni manually. Tak cerdik. Okay. Nanti calculator. Gunakan calculator untuk kirakan bagi awak. Very smart way. Okay. So the question is asking us to answer for example 7. Okay. Correct to 3 significant figures. So kalau 3 significant figures, so our final answer should be at 1.63. Okay, please answer accordingly to the question, okay? Okay, moving on to second last example. We show that the equation Given has a root between 1 to 2. Okay, buat secara algebraic. And then in first initial approximation pun dah diberi. Okay, and then find the root of the equation correct to 3 decimal places. 3 decimal places. Okay, I would like to emphasize on one thing. Nampak tak? Ni fungsi trigo. Okay, kalau trigo function, maka calculator wajib radian mode. Okay, calculator wajib radian. Jangan lupa tukar mode calculator. First clear all data, lepas tu tukar mode calculator dan start untuk masukkan function dan iterate lah. Calculate answer. Okay, there you go. That's the remarks. Mentioning that the angle must be in radian. Okay, so rewrite balik our function fx, bawa semua ke sebelah kiri. So let our function fx be this. So nak tunjuk secara algebraic, kata there's a root between 1 and 2, so you substitute 1, you dapat negative, you substitute 2, you dapat positive, negative, positive, definitely, different sign. So to your conclusion, saying that since satu negative, satu lagi positive, so there's a root lying between 1 and 2. Okay, now moving on, masukkan fungsi dalam, okay, ni fx, ni f prime of x. Okay, cari f prime dulu. So x1, 1, 0, negative sign, differentiate, negative, ni negative tanda je, differentiate sign, cos, betul. Okay, so start with the initial approximation value of 1.7. So kalau 1.7, okay, sebelum tu nak masuk dalam calculator, nak masuk macam mana? Okay, display on calculator should be x minus double bracket, and then x minus 1 minus sin x, tutup bracket, bahagi, buka bracket, 1 minus cos x, tutup dan tutup 2 kali. Okay. Ini apa orang panggil? Display yang you should end up having on calculator. Ingat nak panggil x tu alpha x lah. Okay. Then calculate answer, salin dulu jawapan. Okay. So, salin ni jawapan yang pertama. So salin jawapan yang kedua. And next. Okay. Soalan minta correct to 3 decimal places. So kalau 3 decimal places, your working must be more than 1. So sebab tu kita ambil 4 decimal kat sini. Penyelesaian mesti wajib lebih satu daripada apa yang soalan minta. Faham? Okay. Saya tahu akan ada juga yang tak faham-faham. Tak tahulah apa yang dia faham. Simple aja kan. Okay, kalau soalan minta 3, working mesti 4. Kalau soalan minta 4 decimal places, penyelesaian solutionnya mesti lebih 1, 5. Ini soalan minta 3 decimal places. So penyelesaiannya mesti lebih 1, 4. Okay. Walaupun tak sama kan. Semua soalan akan dapat sentiasa 2 jawapan yang sama dan baru kita stop. Tapi ini kalau kita bundarkan, nak menjawab kepada 3 decimal places. Okay. For 3 decimal places, okay, 3 decimal places, kalau kita bundar, 8 lebih 1, 5 kan? We end up having 1.935. Ini pun, kalau kita bundarkan ke 3 decimal places, kita akan end up having 1.935. So maksudnya, you should stop there. Okay, you should stop. Sebab kalau dah bundar, akan dapat jawapan yang sama. Okay, bukan iterate lagi sampai dapat sama. Tak. Okay, jadi kalau semua soalan akan dapat sampai sama lah. Tapi kalau kita dah bundar, kita dah boleh bundar dan dia boleh dah dapat ke bentuk jawapan yang sama, that meaning you kena stop kat situ. Okay, so kat sini stop pada X4, iteration yang ketiga. Okay, ni X4, tapi iteration yang ketiga. X1 ni mula. Ni X2 ni iteration yang pertama. X3 adalah iteration yang kedua. X4 adalah iteration yang ketiga. Okay, so this is our first iteration This is our second iteration. This is our third iteration, which you end up having x4 as your answer. So, okay, ini coincidentally sebenarnya kalau daripada x3 tadi dah boleh berhenti dah for this question. Okay. So, kalau kita bunda. Okay, for this question, pada x4 dah boleh berhenti dah. So, you should give your answer as 1.935. Okay? Sebab apa tak perlu buat lagi sekali? Sebab apa tak perlu move on? Sebab saya kata tadi kalau kita dah bunda pun dia dah menjawab soalan. Jangan buat lebih. Sepatutnya ini yang betul. Slide tu tepat. Okay, penyelesaian dalam slide tu dia lebih buat. Jangan buat lebih. Buat menjawab soalan. Kalau dah menjawab soalan boleh berhenti? Yes, berhenti. You should stop here. Extra do. Okay? Okay, finally, moving on to the question. Sorry, to the last question, example A. Okay, approximate root of 7 by using Newton-Raphson method and initial value of 2 up to the second iteration. So kalau up to second iteration ni, maksudnya kita mula dengan first initial approximation value of x1 berapa. Second iteration means sampai x berapa? x2 ke x3? x3 nah. Sampai x3. Ini first iteration. Ini second iteration. Okay. So first, second. Unless kalau kamu mula dengan x0, then it will be at x2 lah. Okay. Kisahlah mula dengan x1 ke, x2 ke. Tapi kalau dia kata up to second iteration, buat 2 kali je. Okay. Okay. Untuk soalan ni, apa function fx-nya? Mana ada function fx-nya? So, you kena let lah. X-nya is this. Sebab apa? That's the solution. Approximate cube root of 7, meaning that that's our root, which indicate that's the x. Okay. So let x equal to cube root. Okay, so kuasa 3 kan? X cube will be equal to 7. Now you rewrite your function fx. Bawa 7 to the left hand side. So your fx will be x cubed minus 7. Okay. And then your f prime of x will be 3x squared. And then start with initial approximation value which is given in this question, that is 2. And up to second iteration, saya dah explain tadi, sampai x3 lah. Okay. x2, iterate once, x3, iterate second. Okay. And then kat sini soalan minta apa? Okay. Okay. Pada soalan tidak dinyatakan sampai berapa kan? Bila mana tidak dinyatakan, maka ikut arahan muka soalan hadapan, which always will be at 3 significant figure. Okay, so to answer your final answer as 3 significant figure, so meaning that ini kalau dibundarkan, ni terus kat sini lah. Okay, tengok pada sini, 3 significant figure, 2 bundar jadi 1.91. Okay, soalan tak nyatakan. Okay, okay, untuk example ni pun ada panduan untuk using calculator-nya, so boleh tengok. Okay, so I shall stop here and kita akan continue dengan lecture 2 in next video. Thank you class.